Let's try this again. Let's take our letrec with use before initialization errors and run it in the lazy version of Plait instead of the eager version of Plait. This time we find that our tests do not pass. And what we see, the double exclamation marks are inserted by the lazy variant to say you really have to evaluate this test. In this test where we had letrec x5 plus xx, instead of getting 10 as we wanted, we got use before initialization of x. Or the same thing for our recursive factorial, we got a use before evaluation. The thing that's going wrong here is that our letrec-ubi interpreter is relying on state. It's relying on the setBox expression to update a box that contains a value for x or fac with the result of interpretation. But because we put this in a begin, then the lazy variant of Plait just ignores the setBox expression and continues on, which means that the num is never replaced by a sum. So how do we fix this problem? Well, it's difficult to fix, still using boxes, because laziness and boxes don't really get along. The solution turns out to be much easier. We can go back to our meta-circular version of the interpreter and just write it directly like we wanted to in the first place. The new environment is a result of extending the environment with the result of interpreting the right-hand side in that same new environment. Now, if we tried this strategy with just regular Plait and we run our programs, then as we saw before, we're going to get a use before initialization within Plait itself. Right? We get some exceptions that aren't canceled properly because new env is a thing that's evaluated too soon. But if I change to Plait Lazy and I evaluate these tests, then the tests all pass. That's because in our interp function, this call to interp here is delayed until it's actually needed. That is, it's delayed until someone looks up the binding n in the body of the letrec. And that's neat, but in some sense it's making our problem worse. We're relying even more on laziness to implement different features of our language instead of understanding how laziness works.